Tennessee This Week from WATE's 6 on Your Side starts now.
Hello and welcome to Tennessee This Week. I'm Bo Williams. This week we are continuing to hear from the winners of the Knoxville general election. City Council District 4 winner Matthew DeBardelaben joins us now to talk a little bit about moving forward and for District 4. First of all, congratulations and thanks a lot for coming in today.
Well, thank you for both.
Your initial reaction, let's turn back the clock a little bit to election night. Your thoughts that night, what was going through your head, and then when you saw the check by your name.
You know, I was excited.
Yeah.
We had the primary first, and I really wasn't that excited after the primary because I knew we had another month and a half to keep knocking on doors and sharing our message. But it was a very exciting, fulfilling night for me.
Yeah, for people in some of the other districts that aren't as familiar with you, because obviously you were knocking on the doors in District 4, quick background, who you are.
My name is Matthew DeBardelaben. I grew up in Miami, Florida. I moved to Knoxville in 2011. Lived a lot of places in between here and there. I went to school in Alabama. I lived in Chicago, lived in Seattle, lived in Shanghai, China, and then found my place in this wonderful town of Knoxville, Tennessee. My primary work is in commercial real estate. I do a lot of adaptive reuse, so a lot of blighted buildings that you see. I help owners sell those to other people and open local restaurants, breweries, coffee shops.
And we've seen a lot of that in your district.
Absolutely.
I mean, especially there are a lot of those buildings we've seen. We were talking before we went on the air about some of the sites that we have seen and how things are changing. But I do want to ask you, going back to kind of when you were on foot, knocking on doors, what was the biggest takeaway that you heard from the people that live in your district?
It's what you just said right there. It's change.
Yeah.
Knoxville's growing and there's not a stop button.
Okay.
And I want to be a steward of positive growth in Knoxville, Tennessee. And that growth has great opportunities, but also great challenges. So those opportunities include the wonderful coffee shops, restaurants, things that we have. The challenges include housing. They include our unhoused population. They include traffic on roads and safety on roads.
And we just had a story here talking about, you mentioned unhoused. There were 161 deaths that have been recorded. That was a record for the area. What do we do? I mean, it seems like every district, that is an issue. But I know for you have Broadway as well, where that is, you have several areas. You have Carm and that are trying to help a lot of these people. But what is the step forward here?
It's a huge issue, especially since 2020. It has grown exponentially. What is the way forward? I think private-public partnerships, really making robust efforts to house the homeless who want to be housed, to provide services for those people who want to have services, and then really working with these community organizations to figure out better strategies going forward.
And speaking of strategies, affordable housing is something else, since we're talking about, finding places for people to live and places that they can afford. I know you've been meeting with some of your, there's going to be 5 new faces now on the council. When you look at the current plans in place, agreement, things that need to change, I mean, where do we need to go from here as far as affordable housing moving forward?
Well, I'm going to actually talk about attainable housing. Affordable housing is one thing. It requires a subsidy. It's somebody who makes below a living wage. But attainable housing is you and me. It's our sons and daughters. And so attainable housing is housing that people can afford. And I am convinced that there are things that we can do with our zoning, with our codes, with our lot sizes that can make housing more affordable.
Okay. So. And we already kind of alluded to the fact that 5 new faces. So have you guys had a chance to get to know one another, because you do come from different backgrounds. Obviously, each area has its own concerns, and there is some overlap. But is this a group that's going to be able to work together, come in, work with the mayor as well? It's not common you see 5 new faces all at one time. So how is this going to work?
It's going to work well.
Okay.
The 5 of us have really gotten to know each other throughout this campaign, and then especially since we've been elected. We get sworn in tomorrow, so we enter something called sunshine laws, where we can't actually talk about issues that are going to be voted on. But up until this point, we have talked about how do you feel about housing? How do you feel about are homeless? And we've been able to talk openly and offer solutions. Beginning tomorrow, we won't be able to talk unless it's in a public meeting about those things. But we plan on actually meeting once a month for an hour as a public meeting to be talking about these issues.
Yeah, and we do want to remind everybody, we're recording this on Friday, so when you say we're being sworn in tomorrow, so this is the 19th, so yes, no. But looking at, we've already seen a lot of development in your area, and of course a lot of people when they think this part of town, the multi-use stadium and all the plans that are coming. It seems like they will be going into there. Of course, that'll bleed over and help out, was that District 6 as well. Anything you can take from that and some of the development you've already seen now? You said people want change. Well, can buildings like that lead and inspire, I guess, the growth and the change?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the prime examples I've seen is actually in the 6th District. And it's a private development. And what it is, it's right off Magnolia and Cherry Street. And it's a pizza shop with a beer tap room.
Yeah.
And it has all the neighborhood coming together. And what it has done, it's created a third space in a neighborhood where people can get to know each other. And I think as we create these opportunities for local small businesses to thrive, we create third places. That's how we create communities.
Yeah. Is there something too taking from other areas, whether it's West Knox, South Knox, where maybe someone has been successful and say, well, let's bring this over on this side of town as well?
Yeah,
it seems like there's
absolutely.
opportunity there for, I guess, expansion. Or
I think so. I mean, another perfect example is Lakeshore Park. What a wonderful place it is.
Right.
And it's a result of both a foundation, private family, and then city investment. And we have a park like Shahowie Park,
Right.
where the same thing can be accomplished.
Yeah. Obviously, rural also is a big player in all of this. And you have rural opportunities or areas in your district as well, and for some of that, and that's part of the beauty of our area as well. So how do we preserve that as well, as continue to change and grow?
I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges we have,
Okay.
but it's super important to protect both our rural communities as well as our open land spaces. And the city right now is working on a parks plan. It's a 10-year vision plan, so that'll be part of doing that. But the city and county really need to work closely together because there are areas, I'll name Mascot as one, where we need to protect agricultural land.
Yeah. What's number one on the list, or when you look at the list of prioritizing for you coming in, or like you said, you've had a chance to talk with some of your future colleagues here. How is this? What does it look like to you for the city? I know it's probably like everything.
I have three number ones.
Okay,
so
that's fine. Well, what's tied for the?
But one of them is attainable housing.
Yeah. Okay.
Really getting a good development happening.
Sure.
Good attainable housing, so that people can buy into the market and afford to rent.
Yeah, and as far as obviously, I guess kind of tied into there too. I mean, you've got to be able to get to and from streets, sidewalks, things like that as well. I mean, is that part of the? When you build these neighborhoods and you create this environment.
Well, I want to see a lot of infill. So I want to see where there's already a lot of structure there, places where there are sidewalks or roads already. That's part of affordability, is that the city is not having to put in new sewers, is not having to provide new schools or services, because we have neighborhoods like Lonsdale as an example. Sure. Even actually just a mile from here off Broadway, there's an 11-acre site where there's going to be multifamily housing. Right. It's going to be scaled very appropriate to the neighborhood. But the service is already there, so it's not costing the city money to add to this growth.
I know you said the new council members had a chance to get together. Have you had a chance to much time with the mayor yet, or will that be after you're sworn in?
We all met with the mayor individually.
Okay.
We were at our Christmas party last night, along with city staff. So we've had opportunities to meet with the mayor as well as the leadership in her office.
And how about, because I know we've had a number of your future colleagues here, and how is all that going to work? Do you feel that there's some give and take? Because obviously not everybody's going to be on the same page, or agree, I should say, on certain things, but do you feel that this is going to be a group, as well as the mayor included in that will be able to work together? Or are you positive? Oh,
I'm positive. I'm bullish on Knoxville. This is going to be a really exciting council, working with the mayor's office.
Yeah, and again with 5 new faces, that's, I don't think, 5 new, fresh ideas coming to the table as well. I mean, nothing against what those are the people you've replaced, but it is a whole new group. Yeah.
It is, and
it opens up a lot of opportunity.
It does, and I'm excited for the 4 that are already on council that have the experience. And so I think it's going to be a great team.
All right, fantastic. Well, we appreciate you coming in. I know this won't be the last time that we have you in, so we've got years to go here. So we appreciate it very much.
All right, thank you.
Pleasure as always. And hey, stay with us. We have much more of Tennessee This Week. We'll be talking with our pundits when we come back. Welcome back to Tennessee This Week. A moment ago, we heard from Knoxville City Council District 4 winner Matthew DeBardelaben. Now let's bring in our panel of pundits to discuss what he had to say moving forward. Joining us as always, Courtney Piper, Craig Griffith, Michael Covington. Great to see you guys.
Glad to be here.
Michael, your thoughts first of all, District 4, that race in general, and DeBardelaben, what is he going to be bringing to the table here? Is that the right guy there?
I think he is the guy.
I interviewed him earlier this year, and he really had solid ideas about his vision for that role. I've learned a lot more about the responsibilities of a city council person now that many issues have been fleshed out through the campaign.
Right.
I think this core group of council persons going on is battle tested. They've had some issues they've had to follow. They've had to give opinions that let voters know where their heads are about things. And I think this gentleman is going to do just fine on city council.
Yeah, Courtney, what do you think? I mean, we have 5 new faces coming together here, which is something you don't see every day.
True, and Matthew is my new city council person, so I am, and also I contributed to his campaign. Do I need to disclose that?
Yeah, we won't mention that. Yeah.
I'm
much?
really,
Okay.
I'm very enthusiastic about him being our new city council person for the 4th District. He succeeds Lauren Ryder, and so I'm looking forward to this new city council.
Let me ask you this then, since he's your
Yes.
city council person, what's number 1 on the list? What would, I mean, as far as that area, District 4, he mentioned attainable housing was high on his list. We talked about homelessness. We talked about some other topics. What do you think as someone who lives in that area?
Well, you know, the 4th District is a very weird district because the part that I live in Holston Hills, you would think was actually in the 6th District because a lot of where I play and recreate and shop is actually in the 6th District. So that 4th District city council person actually has a very large responsibility to also keep an eye on the 6th District, which is Chilhowie Park, and developing the Magnolia Corridor. So I think that should be number 1 on all the city council people's list, but the 6th and the 4th District council people need to oversee and drive that future.
And you heard him mention that a little bit. We even mentioned the pizza place and that it opened up along Magnolia and some other development that was going on there. Craig, your thoughts after hearing what he had to say?
Well, I think it's going to be somewhat of a rude awakening for the 5 new members of council. I remember one very active person in city volunteer work and city government who got elected to council after being on council for, I don't know, maybe 6 months, came to me and he said, you know, Craig, it's amazing to me how little power an individual member of council has. So I think it's going to be imperative that this group, if it wants to carry its weight in a strong mayor form of government, which the city of Knoxville is a strong mayor form of government, developing coalitions on individual issues so that they can accomplish the things that they want. So we'll have to see how that goes. And of course, he illustrated some of the issues that they had in terms of affordable or attainable housing, however you wanted to describe it. And then there's always the core city issues that you have to take care of. And mainly that is police. Do people feel safe in their own homes? Fire is important, and emergency responses. And then, you know, the public service issues of, you know, picking up the leaves on time. A lot of people disregard those in terms of the bigger issues, you know, like Chilhowie Park and what to do with the safety building and things. But those core neighborhood issues are very important to neighborhoods, especially in this area, because some of the neighborhoods that he represents can be considered transitional. Are they going to go into rental properties? Will they remain single family homes owned by local people? And how you deal with those city services is really important to those transitional neighborhoods.
Michael, how about for you? And we've kind of heard your fellow pundits here kind of mention, you know, 4 and 6 obviously have to work closely together. 4 and 5 also have a very long border, if you will, as well, heading up Broadway. So we're going to need to see these council members working very closely together and sharing ideas because they do kind of overlap. People will go in and out of both of these districts.
One thing that I think will be very beneficial to the cohesion of the new council is if the mayor challenges them early with an issue that causes them to make a vote that establishes who they will be in the next couple of years. If another controversial issue was raised in the next 6 months, let's say, that would give every new council person a chance to make a motion, second a motion, let the community know who they are. Now that council persons are elected in district, we need to do a little bit more in terms of vetting them once they're in office to see where their heads are.
All right. Any other thoughts here moving forward? We got a couple of topics we want to touch on.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, like I said, this was a strong mayor form of government here, so it'll be imperative that they develop these coalitions with the 5th, 6th districts to get things done.
And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Their first meeting will be in January. That's
right.
So we'll get our first idea.
Not technically on Saturday, on last
yes,
Saturday.
they'll have their swearing in.
They'll have
right.
the swearing in, but also a council meeting to elect their representatives to the beer board and things like that.
Right.
So their first real meaty meeting will be in January.
All right. Switching gears now this week, a quorum was restored to the TVA Board of Directors following Senate confirmations. Let's get your initial reactions. Courtney, I'll start with you. Your thoughts here now moving forward for TVA.
This is welcome news for people in the Valley. The Tennessee Valley Authority has been charged with this responsibility to carry forward America's nuclear renaissance and President Trump's American energy dominance agenda. But they have not had a quorum, so that they cannot do the business that they need to do to fulfill those responsibilities. Now they have this quorum. But this quorum also comes with a lot of uncertainty and speculation. There are folks in the industry that think that once this new board is seated, they might get rid of the new CEO in favor of whomever President Trump might want to put in that position. A integrated resource plan needs to be approved by the board. There will be a lot of education for these 4 new board members in terms of what is that, what does it do, and how does it benefit the people of the Valley. They're going to be looking at rate changes too. So there is a lot of uncertainty that comes with this new board, but at least now the Tennessee Valley Authority can make decisions and do business, because that is critically important for the people in the Valley.
And kind of going off Courtney said there, Craig, moving forward now with this group now in place, what can we expect here?
Well, I think the TVA CEO probably should dust off his resume. I think it's fairly clear that this group will want to get in Trump's handpicked person to head TVA. And all those things Courtney said are true. And this group is being pushed by Senators Hagerty and Blackburn to move nuclear energy forward. But I will say that in the last 2 out of 3 years, the TVA has had rate increases. And I think that while we're wanting to move full speed ahead in nuclear, it's the individual homeowner that gets their bill in the mail every month. Those are the persons they need to protect. They need to make sure that we don't do all these things on the back of TVA rate customers, that we need to protect them from bearing the brunt of building more power for things like data centers and the continued growth throughout the TVA area. So I would hope that they would be champions for the ratepayers as much as they are champions for moving forward in the nuclear age.
Rate changes do not need to happen. It is the easy fix, right? We need more revenue, let's do this, but it does not need to happen. What TVA has not explored are more public-private partnerships where they can get capital at a cheaper rate rather than having to tap into their debt ceiling or do those rate changes. Those kinds of strategic partnerships need to be explored and fully explored and executed before any discussion of a rate change occurs.
And Michael,
Well, but they raised rates 2 out of the last 3 years, so they took the easy way out, apparently.
well, Michael, let me ask you, moving forward then for this group then, first of all, kind of the same question I asked Craig there a moment ago. What do you think they're thinking, looking ahead? What can we expect from them? But also maybe what would you like to see, or what do you think is going to be, number one on their list to do?
I would like to posit one thing at the very top of their list. My KUB bill is not variable. It's not negotiable. Come winter, I don't want it to vary more than $25 from month to month if usage is essentially the same. Keep my utility bill where my utility bill needs to be, and you will have no complaints from me. Springtime, I want a consistent bill. I don't want it to vary by $100 from March to April without explanation. So I don't care what you do with the rates, as long as the bill that comes in the mail does not vary by $100.
You should care what they do with rates, because that's how it's going to affect your bill.
Well, I want to make sure that they know when they're seated that that's what I want. I want my KUB bill to be consistent.
Consistent.
I
That is
will
the
be
key
a
word.
happy,
Consistently high?
consistently modest.
Okay. So it's important to be clear on that point.
Yes.
All right, we're going to stop right there for a second. We got to take a quick break. Keep it tuned right here. We have more of Tennessee This Week. We'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back to Tennessee This Week. After about a year and a half, the Gay Street Bridge has reopened to pedestrians and cyclists. So let's bring our panel of pundits back in. This is a topic we've been talking about since it closed. Craig, your thoughts now. It is back open. Where do we go from here? I mean, it's great to see we've seen a few people on the bikes and people walking the dogs and what have you, but where do we go from here with the bridge now?
I'm glad it's back open.
Yeah.
And it probably will be very expensive to bring it back up to where it's still open to vehicular traffic. During the Ash administration, we had to redo that bridge, and it was very expensive. And so now the community's faced with that same decision. Do you want to do that? Or do you want to just leave traffic on the two bridges that flank it, the Henley Street Bridge and then the other bridge to South Knoxville? So, that one seems to be less used than it should be.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some ways that you can go ahead and improve the traffic pattern so that the other bridge, the third bridge, is more used by commuters every day. So we'll have to see how it goes because it's a beautiful bridge. I mean, and one of the things the state wanted to do during the Ash administration was make it more of a bridge that could handle more traffic. And historical preservationists and everyone wanted to continue the look of that bridge from when it was built in the 1890s, I believe. So I hope that the historical significance of it is taken into consideration when anything is done.
Yeah, Courtney, do we need another bridge as far as for automobile traffic, or are we good where we are? And also, if you've been to Chattanooga, you've seen, I think that was a railroad bridge, if I'm not mistaken, but they became, and all the development on either end of that bridge for their pedestrian bridge. What do you think the future should be for that area, and any additional bridges or no additional bridges?
A pedestrian bridge really adds to the character of our community, and it is a great solution for this bridge. Craig alluded to the age of the Gay Street Bridge. It is older than dirt. I mean, last week I took a real good look at the pylons,
Right.
the pieces that go into the river. And they're bricks. It's like bricks and mortar. And you contrast that to the Gay Street Bridge, which is very strong structural. I mean, I saw them put the rebar and the concrete and the everything in there. And so to think that this bridge can just snap your fingers, we can get cars driving by it, it's not the reality of this bridge.
Right.
And keeping it in use as a pedestrian bridge is going to add to the character of our community, and I think it will open up a lot more development opportunities and way to connect downtown to South Knoxville. So this is a great solution. I will leave the traffic engineers to determine whether or not we need another vehicular bridge, but I use the James White Parkway Bridge quite frequently, living in Holston Hills and working downtown, and that works great for me.
Yeah, and I do go along with you, Craig. It's not a heavily used stretch of roadway that we see on some of the other ones. I will admit to that. Michael, let me ask you this. We haven't even brought up the UT pedestrian bridge and the talk about that. Does this impact that at all now, that the Gay Street Bridge, and people seem to be taking to the Gay Street pedestrian bridge?
You're stealing my thunder.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, did that plan suddenly get abandoned?
No.
Are we not?
Because we've seen
Two bridges are so far apart.
We've seen
from
a lot
each
of
other.
development on the south side. That is for sure when you drive through there and you see the
Yes.
apartments. But has that impacted that at all? Or maybe the timeline for it? I don't know.
I'm pretty certain the sports, whatever, complex that's on the table, it's going to happen. It's going to create another bridge. Don't we need to be able to get to the south side of Knoxville over the river?
And through the woods.
And
yeah.
through the woods. We've got to make that happen. It just seemed sad to see a celebration of bikes riding across the mighty Gay Street Bridge.
The mighty Gay Street Bridge.
That just seems like such an incredible waste. It's like getting a participation trophy. They actually pulled bunting out, and they actually had school supply scissors cutting ribbons as though it was worthy
So you're
of
saying we need another way of automotive traffic to get in and out of South Knoxville?
That was not worthy of celebration.
How is it not worthy of celebration?
People riding little pitty-pat
Yeah, you
bikes
can get
across.
from one point of the river to the other point
What
of the
an
river
incredible
now. Walking
waste.
and biking, it was closed.
What a waste.
What a waste.
That
To be
bikes
able to
and
commute.
walkers are coming across.
Yes.
That was,
Michael, that
Either
area
that was not worthy
gets
of-
a lot of cycling traffic. Cycling is really, really big in Knoxville. Cycling and then going to get a craft brew is really big. And along Sevier Avenue, you've got a lot of pizza places, coffee places, and breweries that rely on cycling traffic.
That
That
What
is
a-
we're going to
huge for
stop.
them.
what an
3
incredible
seconds.
waste.
See you next week.
The views of guests on Tennessee This Week are their own and do not represent the views of WATE 6 on your side or Next Star Broadcasting.